Okay, so the emulator launched and we see our app. So let's click the button and we see that the text view was updated and so was the text on the button. So that's good. Perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to make a network request because you're going to need that for the homework assignment. So activities by default are single-threaded. So that means that the UI is basically on one thread, and if you are going to do some task that may incur a delay or yeah, basically an unpredictable delay of some sort, you want to perform that operation on a separate thread. So we're going to go over how to do that. You want to have it on a separate thread so that it doesn't make the UI unresponsive. So you want any CPU intensive task or network call, anything like that, you want it to be on a separate thread than the UI. So let's go over here. So I took some code from the Google website. There's a Google Android site that shows you how to make a network request. So you can go and copy that code, it's totally fine. It's kind of a lot of code, so I'm just going to go over it here. I pasted it in my activity class. So what you have to do is basically make a private class inside your activity class that extends a synchronous task. So that's what we did here. We called it download web page task, and we put extends async task. And these three types here are the types for, the first one is for the parameters, which is going to be a URL, so it's a string type. Void here, we're indicating void for progress, because we don't care about progress for this particular app. And return type is string, because we're going to basically make the response, the HTTP response, into a string. So what you're going to be doing in this class is you're going to override the do in background method, and this is where you're going to actually make your network request. So here we created a function called download URL just to separate the functionality a little bit. And we give it as a parameter URLs 0. So here we have URLs. We're basically going to be sending in a single URL. So we have URLs at 0, which will be, for example, www.google.com. Okay, then we have a on post execute method that takes a result, and we are going to update the text of a particular UI element in our app. So we'll be doing that shortly. And here we have a function for actually downloading a URL. This code is pretty standard for Java HTTP requests, so you can just look online if you have any trouble with that, or send me an email. We can go over it. But it's basically similar code for just reading from URLs. So now what we need to do, let's go back to our XML file. So here we have a button and we have a text field. Let's add two more things. Let's add an editable text field so that the user can enter a URL. And let's also add a bigger text field down here that will display the result of the HTTP request. So first of all, we need an editable text field. Let's go and add, here under text field, you can use the plain text one. So let's drag that onto our UI. And let's set some of the properties over here on the right. Let's make it editable. So go down to the editable property and check the box. And then we also need, let's set a minimum height on it and a minimum width. So let's just type in some arbitrary, arbitrary numbers. Let's do this. So width, let's put it 300. And that, oh, we want to set the input to text as well. So input type, just click text. Okay, so let's leave it at that. Let's now go and add a text view for our response. So let's just